So in the PBT Institute, we have a program for the betrayed. We have a program actually for the betrayer too. Two different curriculums, different communities, different everything. And the ones who are super serious about getting their job done in a very short amount of time work with me personally. I was working with someone in our betrayer community yesterday, and he has the precious gift of being able to possibly rebuild something entirely new with his wife. So I was asking him some of the things that he was doing, and he was telling me. And I said, okay, well, if you were to rate that, on a percentage of how much different that was from what you would normally do, what would you give it? And he said, well, it's like, I don't know, 50, 60%. And so here's the thing. That's good, but when it comes to rebuilding something entirely new, it's not 50, 60%. It's way more than that. So I asked him, were you uncomfortable? And he said, no. And I said, okay, that's how you know there's no real big change there. Change is uncomfortable. Even if you do something at the edge of your comfort zone, you've pushed yourself this far, it's still the familiar known. If you're going to rebuild something entirely different, meaning a rebuilt and different you, and possibly a rebuilt and different relationship, it's not just pushing to the edge of your comfort zone, it's pushing past your comfort zone. So then I asked him, let's go back to that same scenario. How could you have pushed that a little bit further? And he had a very clear response. And then he gave me another scenario where he pushed himself. And I said, how could you push that a little bit further? And he gave me another response. So here's the idea. If you know that, let's say what you were going to say and do is a bit of a push for you, how can you push it further? Change doesn't happen within your comfort zone. Change happens when you push past that. It's going to be unfamiliar. It's going to be uncomfortable. And that's where change lives. So here's your clue that if it's familiar, it's not enough. Not when you're rebuilding something entirely new, whether that's a rebuilt new you, rebuilt new relationship. This goes for the betrayed too. When you're making changes, you do not want to stay in the familiar known. It should be awkward. It should be uncomfortable. That's where change lives. And if you think about it, every single thing you're doing now that you are so great at was once really uncomfortable, was once really awkward, and then you stepped into it, you did it, you mastered it, it became comfortable. So know that when it's time to change, whether you're the betrayed, whether you're the betrayer, it needs to feel uncomfortable. Use that as your guide to see, am I making strides here? Am I making changes? If it's uncomfortable, you're on your way. I hope that helps.